welcome to our podcast, guys. Hi, Stefano.
Hello, Claudia. How are you? Good.
I'm so excited. One of my favorite DJs in the world is here, and I'll say that it's probably the first time when I'm a bit nervous. So today we are so thrilled to have the incredibly talented DJ and producer Joel Corry as our special guest with chart-topping hits like Sorry, Lonely, and Head and Heart. Joel has taken the music industry by storm, and I would also add that he is one of the most handsome DJs in the world. So Joel Corry, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you for the lovely intro. It's great to be here.
We are happier than you, I think. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Yeah, I've been relaxing in Miami the last few days. I had a pretty crazy January, like a lot of touring. Normally January is like a quiet month for me, but for some reason this year, like I was in Germany, then Thailand, and I was in Washington, D.C. the other night, now Miami. So it's been a lot of traveling, but listen, I love Miami. Miami holds a special place in my heart. I actually used to come to university here.
Oh, wow, really?
I did study abroad for a semester at University of Miami, and I lived here when I was like 19.
What did you study?
I did music and business, which I've ended up following as well.
Smart.
But yeah, like, so Miami's always, been a special place to me, a bit like a second home. So yeah, I love being here every time I come.
We were just talking about jet lag and how do you cope with it, and it's like it's impossible not to ask you now because it's very interesting, because it's so difficult for so many people, and it's one of the hardest, basically things in your job. You know?
I would say it's probably the hardest. Like, it's definitely something I'm constantly trying to manage. We're just talking a bit before the interview started. There's definitely like a psychological effect of jet lag as well. You feel a bit weird, get mind fog, don't really feel normal. And when you get those feelings, you've got to kind of like, power through and stay focused and concentrate on your job and stuff. So it's definitely difficult, but I've learned ways of coping with it. And I do think that wherever I'm in the world, I always try my best to stick to my routine. Going to the gym, eating healthy. Yeah. So I think, like, if you end up just staying in the hotel room and, you've got bad jet lag and you're not active and you're letting it kind of overpower you, it's kind of like you can kind of spiral downwards like that.
Yeah.
So I'm very much like almost quite military, when I get to somewhere, I'm like, got my checklist, to-do list, and I've got to get through, my daily routine, my tasks, and tick all the boxes. And that way, wherever I'm in the world, whatever time zone, I feel like I'm staying on track and staying on top of it.
And it also helps that you love what you do so much. I mean, you always say, because I watched a few interviews with you, of course, and along the time, and you always say, I'm the luckiest person in the world.
100%.
To do what I do. So.
Yeah, and it's so true. Like, I always remind myself that. So whenever those moments come where I'm just like, feel totally like, exhausted or sleep deprived, I'm always like, get yourself together. You're doing what you always dreamed of doing. Like, because I'm very much like, I never complain, I'm always a very positive person. So I always try to keep that in the forefront of my mind, that what I'm doing now is literally my dream.
I mean, your professional achievements are basically what most of the DJs and producers are dreaming of. You are following a busy schedule, but you are achieving such a milestone that somebody can just dream about.
100%. And I did dream about it for years. I literally did wake up every morning and just be like, oh God, I would love to play that festival. I would love to one day have a hit record. I'd love to one day, be in the charts and have my music played on radio. Like for years, I literally would think about those things every single day of my life.
And manifested it.
Yeah. I mean, it seemed like so out of reach for me for years. Like, it literally just felt like this is a dream I had, and, be real, Joel. This is not a reality. Like, this is not, it's not gonna happen for you. Like, those thoughts kind of do go through your head, especially you get older as well. I didn't have my first like breakthrough like hit song until I was 30 years old, but I've been trying to do this since I was 18.
Wow. And how we turned it to be from a prospective business career to a professional producing and DJing one?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I've been DJing since I was like 13 was when I first started. Got my first pair of decks.
13?
Yeah. Like my older brother was a DJ, and he obviously.
Yeah, because I wanted to ask you, when did this start?
Yeah, right. So my older brother Sam, he was a DJ, and he's like 3 years older than me. And we used to play garage music when we were teenagers. So with garage music, you have like MCs as well. And him and his friends used to be up in the bedroom. They had the loft bedroom in the house, MCing and playing tunes, and I was like, oh, I want to get involved, you know. So I was like, Mum, can I get a pair of decks as well? Like, I just want to be cool like my brother. And she was like, oh my God, not 2 DJs in the house, you know. And that one was enough. But I eventually convinced her, and I got my decks. You know, back then it was vinyl. It was very different to now.
Yeah,
whole different sort of like thing completely. Because I used to go to the record store on weekends and, you know, shop for vinyls. And
so who were your UK garage influences in that? Because that era was huge.
It was huge, you know, and I grew up in North London, and it was such a big scene in London especially. Like DJ EZ is, you know, he's the GOAT. And I used to literally record his sets on radio on a Friday night on my cassette player. And I used to listen back to the sets on the school bus and then go home and try to emulate the tricks and mixes he was doing. And there was so many other DJs as well, like Todd Edwards. You know, I was such a big fan of Todd Edwards, I still am. And many other DJs in that sort of
J. Cole.
Oh yeah, MJ Cole. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like had all their vinyls and followed them all, and it was a great era. And I felt like I was part of like that culture. That's one thing that I loved about garage. It really felt like a movement and a culture. And like I said, going to the record store every week, you know, hunting through the white labels. I could only buy one record a week because it was like £7 which is what, about $13-14 or whatever.
But was your allowance your whole allowance for that week?
Exactly. Though when I was 14, that was my pocket money. Or like I used to sell sweets at school, and make a bit of change.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah. Hustling back then with the sweet
investment on music.
Yeah, and I would then build up the money and go and spend it at the record shop. So that's how I got into it. And you know, I then started like DJing in like people's birthday parties, weddings, bar mitzvahs, and I actually started a mobile DJ company. So I bought the speakers and the lighting. Yeah, but suddenly, you know what? I was actually making money because I started, you know, getting busy on the weekends, and I was only like at this point 16, 17. When I first started, I didn't actually drive, so because I wasn't old enough. Because in England, you know, you pass your driving test at 17, 18, whatever. So when I first started, I used to pay like adults that I knew, like my mum's friends, to drop me at the gigs with my stuff, and I'd pay them like 50 quid. And then I'd go and do the set for like 100 quid, and I'd be like, you know, I'm 50 quid up here. But at that age, it was decent money to make that on a weekend.
Do you remember your turning point?
I mean, I would say that what was the turning point? Because I started DJing in clubs, right? When I was like 18, 19, I had a lot of residencies around London, and I was really like smashing the club circuit as a resident DJ. And at that point, I started at music production as well. And I was dabbling with it, and I was making tracks and promoting myself as a DJ in my SoundCloud mixes, just trying to get my name out there. But the turning point, for so many years I did that. I was a club DJ for 10 years. And all that time I wanted to take it to the next level. And I was trying to figure it out and find my way and make that break. But like I said to you, that break did not actually come for me until I was 30 years old. And when it came for me, and it was like my record Sorry, which is actually a cover of a garage record.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite ever garage records by Monster Boy and Denzi, called I'm Sorry. So I covered that tune. And it's funny that was my first hit, because that was
your first hit, right?
That was my first hit. And that original was such a song that was so, you know, I was attached to from my roots. So it was actually really special that was the one that crossed over, because I'd released a lot of other songs before Sorry, you know, like you do. You know, I was releasing many songs, like different record labels, independent record labels, self-releasing stuff, started my own label, but, you know, nothing had really hit. But then Sorry hit, and it was like really special. That was the first one. But that wasn't until I was 30. And I think it wasn't until then that when I got that first hit record, that I was actually like, oh my God, this could actually happen. That was the first time I really believed it, if I'm honest with you, because before then I was trying a lot and it wasn't really happening, and I was kind of staying at the same level as, you know, like the club DJ, and it wasn't going to the next level, and I started to think like maybe not, you know, maybe this is not going to happen. So
do you believe in destiny, or in luck, or in like only hard work?
It's a really good question. I've actually thought about like the concept of luck quite a lot, and I don't like the idea that I'm not in control of what happens to me. So I kind of am more on the wavelength of you have to work hard to create your own luck. Because there is like this thing that like, oh my God, that was a moment that I feel like it was a lucky moment. But then I look at the back steps that built up to that moment.
It was 100 years of work
and
behind that luck.
And all the actions I took that
lot of persistence.
Yeah. And then obviously there's these magic moments that happen, and there's opportunities that suddenly come in front of you, and you have to go and get them. But those opportunities didn't just come; they were a result of, you know, things that had happened before and work that you put in. So I'm a believer in work hard and you will create your own luck. And then it's up to you to take those opportunities when they come.
Do you have regrets?
Do you know what? This is another great question. And I've thought about regret a lot as well. And I'm on the mindset now. Now, it's really hard, I think, for humans to not regret things. And it's easier said than done what I'm about to say. But regret is the biggest waste of energy you could ever have, because you can't change the past. But what you can do is always turn it into a positive, and a regret can become a lesson. So I look back on my life at mistakes that I've made, and I don't say they're mistakes, they're lessons. As long as you can like learn from a mistake you feel like you made, it's not a mistake, it's a positive, it's a lesson. And you know, when you go forward, you're stronger. So yeah, regret, although it's hard, everyone like dwells on things and thinks, oh, what if and what could have happened. But you got when in those moments, it's so hard, but you got to shift that. And you got to shift that into like, no, I can see what went wrong there. Next time that won't happen again. And then that's a positive.
What you're saying is just so inspirational, and I'm sure it helps so many young people that want to become you know. Oh, so he didn't know from the beginning. So it's not a mistake, it's a lesson. You know, it's so important for young people to hear that from someone like you. It's extremely inspirational, and we thank you for that. I want to ask you, you talked about your mom, and I know that she's your biggest supporter. She loves coming in the booth with you, actually, right?
Yeah.
And she was giving you money for your first vinyls. Mm-hmm. So was she like very supportive of it since your childhood? Like, did she push you? Did she know? Did she always tell you you're gonna make it? Was she that kind of?
Yeah, like my mum is literally my rock. Do you know what I mean? And I think that what's happened with me, it's I'm almost so happy that for her to have seen this happen to her son as well, because she was there when I was doing those mobile discos and promoting myself and going to clubs and handing out CDs. She saw all of that. The thing is, my mom's actually quite traditional. Like, she's a school teacher, and you know, maybe like a son pursuing a career to want to be a DJ, maybe she wasn't sure of it at sometimes, and that's totally normal, because it's not really a normal job, and it's a career that like
you are very exposed to many, you know, situations,
and it doesn't feel like a thing that you can grasp, like a reality career. You know, it only happens, you know, to not many people.
No,
it's not like a clear career path. So she saw me grinding and grafting and wanting it so bad for so many years, and even at times would say to me like, what's the plan B though, Joel? Like, you're spending
She's
like
a teacher.
yeah, exactly. So, you know, I was spending like a lot of money and a lot of time, like effort to, you know, put these records out there, to promote myself. And, you know, like I said, at times I think she did say like, what's the plan B? And I remember just saying to her like, there isn't one. It's only a plan A. Like, this is gonna happen.
That's so amazing.
You know what I mean? I said it to her, and then when it did happen,
what would she say though to that?
She would just be like, oh, I hope it does for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, but she knew how badly I wanted it, more than anyone in the world, because she saw the early stages. So when it did happen, as I said to you, like, I'm so happy for her that it happened as well, because I know she's so proud now.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean.
I would be. Yeah, of course.
So your first massive hit came in 2019, right?
Mhm.
No, in 2020, actually in COVID.
No, Head and Heart. You
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
You worked so much, and then there you go. You have one of the biggest hits in the world, and it's COVID.
Mm.
And your biggest dream is to tour all over the world.
Yeah.
How did that feel? I mean, thank you for Head and Heart. It actually brightened our days.
Yeah.
While I was in Romania. Where were you?
Miami.
Yeah, Miami. Well, you were free. We were locked in the house, and this song made us happier and really, really brightened our days. So thank you for that. But how was that for you? You know, to have this huge, massive hit, 6 weeks, number one in the UK charts, and then you couldn't tour.
I remember going back, when I think back, right? So what happened is I'd had Sorry and Lonely had both come out, and they were both top 10 singles in the UK, both big hits, back to back. And my whole year of 2020, all those festivals that I talked about were coming in. All the big club gigs were coming in. And I was like looking at the year calendar at the start of 2020 going...
You were losing your mind.
I was like, oh my God, this is going to be the biggest year of my life. And then bang, February, it happened. And all the gigs cancelled, you know. And obviously I was gutted like everyone else. Although I knew that a lot of people were in a worse situation than me, of course I was still gutted, you know, like it's all you know, relevant to a position you are in life. Like I was gutted that I'd lost all my gigs. And at the time though, I was working on Head and Heart, and I knew it was a monster. I remember ringing my mate when I was working on it, and I was like, this track, I'm telling you, mate, this is a number one. I just knew that song was so special. And I was working on it for months. That song I worked on for about 9 months until it was ready. And I remember going, I can't release this because there's no clubs open. I was like, I can't release a song when no one can dance to it. And I was like, I'm just going to...
We were dancing in the house.
Yeah.
But I was like, to my management, I was like, nah, let's just wait. Let's wait until this passes, and then we'll release it, you know, when the clubs are back. And then I started to realize this wasn't just going to go away. You know, the lockdowns were extended.
Yeah.
And it got to the summer, and I was just like, we got to go. We got to drop this. And obviously it came out, and I think in 3 weeks it was at number one. It was like a rocket. And it was crazy having like a number one, because I remember I was like celebrating just in my front room on my own in my bungalow. Do you know what I mean? Like, where I wasn't like gigging or at festivals, like dropping the song to crowds. It was like I was like having a virtual number one, like looking at stuff online going,
like, you know, unreal, right?
Yeah, it was like, it was such a strange feeling to have a hit like that during that time. But when I look back on it now, I have a different perspective.
No regrets.
No regrets. And I realize actually that it was more special because of what you just said. And I know this song, it really connected with people during a time where they needed some positivity.
It was happy.
It was happy. And people used to message me and they'd be like, oh my God, like I was feeling down today. And I turned the radio on and this came on and this made me feel good.
Yeah, you'd
and
be like,
I was getting so many of these messages. Yeah.
And music during that period was a huge part of
people needed it.
Yeah,
people needed it
to recover from all the closure and all the restriction in place.
That song was obsessive. Like,
so like
such a happy song.
When I think back, I'm like, that was such a stronger and bigger thing for me than going to a festival and playing it. The fact that I know it helped people, and when people hear it now, it probably brings them back a little bit to that time and makes them feel like, oh yeah, that was that song that helped me back then, and they will always be there for the rest of the time. So I'm proud. I'm so proud of that. And you know, shout out to MNEK, who is just the most amazing talent and become such a good friend of mine, and we did that together.
Hopefully we'll have him here one day.
Yeah, I hope so. So you'll love him.
Do you have more goosebumps releasing music or performing big festivals?
I think there's no feeling like stepping out on a huge festival in front of like thousands of people. Like, I can't describe that feeling. It's like adrenaline. It's like electricity. You know, big ones that I can think of, you know, like Tomorrowland and Creamfields. These are moments as a DJ you always dream of. And when they happen, it's like trying to be present in that moment and get it right with the pressure and the excitement and energy. Like, there's nothing like that. It's like taking a crazy drug, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so amazing that you're so aware of that. I need to be here in the present.
Yeah.
And just live it and just.
You have to be. You have to be there in the present, even if you're nervous or, you know, you can feel the pressure on you like a weight. But in that moment, you have to. No, you've made it here. Enjoy this. Like, be here. I talk to myself, you know, backstage.
And what happened when you step back from the stage?
So there's when you go and do one of those big performances, you know, with a big production, you know, these things have to be planned, and you know, you build up to it into your mind for days, weeks even. And then when it all goes right and it's amazing and you're so happy with the set and the reaction and everything went perfectly like you visioned it, the feeling after is like, it's like a buzz. It just lasts for ages. And I remember coming off some of those big performances and just, you know, with my team backstage and just hugging everyone and going like, that was amazing. And then you like look forward to seeing the footage after and the media and the pictures. And it's always a great feeling when something like that goes to plan.
Do you still feel emotional?
100%.
Every time?
On the big ones, 100% you feel emotional. You can't not. I mean,
like nervous.
Yeah, well, you have the sort of the nerves and the adrenaline beforehand and the excitement, but the after is like it's like an amazing feeling of like just happiness and relief and fulfillment, and yeah, just it really like lifts you up inside. So yeah, there's some big ones that definitely stick out in my mind.
So these shows are absolutely huge. Like, how important is lighting, pyro, visuals? Are you involved in all of that? Do you organize everything?
Yeah, I'm across it all, and I have a great team as well with me. But I'm across all the details. So like you said, there's pyro and effects, and with festivals, you actually normally have the option to choose how much you want, but you pay for it. So
you pay for
it? I pay for it, yeah. So if I get booked for like a big festival, there'll be like packages of how much I want to buy in to add to my show.
That's crazy.
So I can make it as big as I want. Sometimes it'll mean that I don't earn any money because I've spent it all on the production. But yeah. So, but again, I'm across like how much, generally anyway, how much goes on in the set, and then the visuals. Always improving my visuals, and if I have new songs out or new records I'm working on, sometimes we can like create special visual moments during the big moments of big songs, where my like VJ, who's going to be there when I'm DJing, is kind of VJing the visuals as I'm DJing. Together, it's like we create this magic. We'll try to create this magic experience for the crowd. Yeah.
Yeah, you do. So Hidden Heart got nominated, right? Many nominees at the Brit Awards. And is that important to you? Does that matter, that recognition, or is it just the people and the fact that it's you know, it's a huge, massive hit and people love it, and you're world touring? Are the awards important for an artist?
They are to me. Like, you know, if I get nominated for an award, I'm so grateful for that, especially something as big as the Brits. I mean, if you told me back when we were doing the mobile discos or when I was DJing in those clubs, if you told me then I was going to get nominated for a Brit Award, I would have said you're out. I'd be like, you're crazy. What? So I don't forget that. You know, I things like that, you know, really, really big for me. And the Brit Awards, my whole family come to see that, and it's a proud moment for the family. You know, it's validation for me as well that I doing the right thing, and to keep working. Like it's actually motivation to then work harder, you know, to think like, right, I'm on the right track. If I'm getting nominated for things like Brits,
it's a validation.
It's validation. Yeah. So of course, yeah, they mean a lot.
So what are your music inspirations right now? Do you listen to other genres as well?
Do I listen to other genres? I listen to mainly house and dance music. Not so much other genres. And inspirations, what inspires me? It's I think I'm inspired by I know it sounds a bit cliche or like cheesy, but I'm generally inspired by the dance floor, you know, like that's where.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, when I'm out on the road and I'm DJing and I'm seeing like the trends of what the crowds are reacting to and what's new, what's working on the dance floor. When I then go back to the studio to create music, I have that in mind. And I think that's a luxury of being a DJ, is in dance music, you can kind of see what trends and what things are starting to react and work on a dance floor. And it's, you know, I release like more club music and also commercial music. And it's interesting sometimes to see, especially since the pandemic, club music is more in the charts than ever. You know, since raving has come back and people are out there in clubs and festivals. And it's interesting to see now how like it really is seeping through more into commercial music, and it's exciting as well for me. And new music that I'm working on this year, for example, you know, commercial music is becoming faster and harder than ever. And the sort of more poppier stuff is actually not working as much as it used to. And that's the influence of clubs.
Of clubs and social media and TikTok.
100%. That's another good point. And it's now a crazy time where, you know, TikTok is creating hits. And
you've worked, right, with a big artist actually from TikTok. Katie.
Yeah. That, you know, like Katie is a great example. Katie PIAZZA. She's quite fresh on the scene, and she definitely came through that new generation. And for me to work with someone like that, it was actually, I learned a lot working with her and seeing how she does her thing.
I discovered her through you.
Yeah.
She's really funny.
It definitely made me feel like I was getting old. I was like, oh God, can't keep up with this TikTok stuff. But it's a challenge for sure. And you know, I definitely think in the last couple of years, it's changed the landscape so much of music industry and dance music, where it's such a big factor to think about now of like, I kind of hate to say it, but like, how is this going to work on TikTok, and will it translate on TikTok? And because to have hits these days, you kind of need to tick that box as well.
Right?
It is. You know, it's got to stream, it's got to work on radio, it's got to work on TikTok, it's got to work in the clubs. You know, there's so many different things to think about when you're making a record now.
That's why it takes 9 months, like a baby.
Yeah, of course. But each of these aspects are crucial in order to achieve the success.
Yeah, there they are. To if you're aiming to have like those big hit records, like top tens, all these factors come into play, and like a track generally has to work on all of those platforms to, you know, get it to the top these days. And it's a lot to think about. It's confusing. It's honestly confusing. Like I find it hard to now kind of figure out, like, whereas before I had a great formula that was working, but then, as I said, a lot of things change in the music industry, and you've got to kind of adapt to those new trends and new changes, and it's difficult, very difficult. But then you look at like people like David Guetta and Tiesto and Calvin Harris, and they've done this for like 20 years, and I have the biggest respect when I see that, because I'm like, you know, I'm only a few years into this, and those guys have done it for so long and stayed at the top and stayed relevant. Hats off to them, because it's hard.
How do you think they did it?
How did they do it? You got to ask them. Let me know.
What is it?
You just name a few of my favorite artists so far. I grew up listening to Tiesto, Guetta, Calvin Harris, and you had the opportunity to work with a few of them, right?
Yes. I mean,
how was it?
I mean, David, I've worked with on 2 records, which was Bed with Ray and What Would You Do with Bryson Tiller, and you know, he's become a really good friend of mine. And definitely, he's been my idol for many years. So nice to have a friendship with somebody that you looked up to for so long. And you know,
amazing.
He's a legend, man. And he's such a very nice guy as well. And he's given me good advice over the years. And he also, you know, I play with him at his night at Ushuaia in Ibiza, which he invited me to support, which gave me the opportunity to play at Ushuaia.
So how is actually being in the studio with like a huge artist like David Guetta?
Yeah, I kind of like, when I was kind of like pinching myself, like, okay, I'm now in the studio with David, working on music. But you know, he's got so much great energy, Everyone that meets him knows this. Like, he's such a big personality. So it's really good vibes in the room with him. And I loved every minute of it. And I look forward to hopefully working with him more in the future.
So I guess it's not even a question, what's your favorite collaboration? Because I wanted to say that you've had such amazing collaboration with such fabulous artists like David Guetta, Ray, MNEK, Tom Greenan, Saweetie, Rita Ora, like Becky Hill, amazing artists. Do you have a favorite?
Nah, I can't. No, I can't. Do you know what? Everyone you just mentioned there, all those records, I've come away with great friendships from.
And they're all so amazing.
And they are, honestly. I get on with everyone that I work with, and I wouldn't work. I mean, I don't not get on with anybody basically. So I wouldn't work with somebody that I'm not friends with. And all these people that
because it's all the energy, right?
Yeah, like you're in the room together making music. You know, it's got to be good vibes. And then once you release a song, you're in campaign together promoting it. So the relationship has to be good. So I always will make sure that relationship is strong. And I always, make sure I treat people with respect and try my best to be make them feel good and be a good person to them, because I want this friendship to be there forever.
Of course, but which has been the most challenging working relationship?
I couldn't tell you. I honestly, I everyone that I've worked with, I've not had a problem at all. Everyone's different, obviously, but
I could never see him having a challenge.
Yeah,
so easy.
The thing that's challenging is like some of these people were like big A-list artists, and they're so busy, and everyone has schedules, and sometimes the challenge is to align
to fit in their
schedule. Like sometimes you got to promo, but everyone's so busy they can't really do stuff. So that's the challenge. That's the biggest challenge, is sometimes just people so busy.
Well, how did you end up bungee jumping with Tom Greenan?
Oh God, yeah.
Like that.
You blame my record label for that.
For real?
They were like, literally.
So you guys like hugged each other and decided to jump. That's trust.
Well, I mean, that was one of my favorite campaigns ever, actually. And Tom is like a brother to me now. And we went through so many good experiences promoting that record. There was a track called Lionheart, and this track is
amazing.
It's a powerful song, and it is about overcoming your fears and conquering, and like this sort of like real motivational record. And Tom was afraid of heights, so when my record label found that out, they were like, well, let's send them bungee jumping, they can overcome that fear. And I was like, great. And they're like, Joel, you're doing it too. I was like, oh no, what have I got myself into? So
you're not an extreme sports guy?
No, I don't even like it, do you?
I know you
I am. I did so many bungee jumpings all over the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no, man.
New Zealand.
I'll never do it again.
Macau.
It was a one time only.
Costa Rica.
I would maybe only do it just to promote a big hit.
No.
Listen, I'll do anything to promote a song.
Maybe it would be the only thing that would make me jump.
I actually did the world tallest commercial bungee jumping
Really?
from Macau Towers. And another huge one at the Navies in New Zealand.
You should have done the song, and you could have done it with Tom, and I could have just watched.
When I was younger, I was very much into sport, extreme stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even like going to theme parks.
Music festivals.
Not my most extreme sport is to wear heels. So I'm not afraid of heights. So your first residency was at Ibiza Rocks. How was that? And I know that you're returning in 2024.
Yeah. So that was my first Ibiza residency. Obviously, Ibiza's a magical place, somewhere that I always wanted to be. I've been going there since I was 18 years old.
Ibiza? Oh, yeah.
Ibiza, yeah. us English, well, me anyway, I say it with Ibiza.
I love it, Ibiza.
Everyone's always like, you mean Ibiza? Like, yes, Ibiza, but we call it Bifa.
Well, we say Ibiza.
Yeah. You've got it right, I've got it wrong, don't worry.
No, I don't think so.
But yeah, Ibiza Rocks was my first residency, and this year will be like my third year doing it. And yeah, we built a really successful party on a Wednesday, and Ibiza's not an easy place to build a party because there's a lot of competition, and I'm so glad that, you know, we're into year 3 now, and it's a very healthy, successful party. And Iifa Rocks have been a great team to collaborate with on this.
You've mentioned being inspired by careers of DJs like Calvin Harris, David Guetta, Tiesto. What specific qualities or achievements of this artist do you admire and strive to emulate in your own career?
I think the longevity is the main thing that is so impressive. Because, as I said, I'm like just a few years into this, and I can see it's hard, really hard. And they're like over 20 years or so into it, of hits from all different eras, and keep reinventing, keep coming back, keep evolving their sounds. And, you know, that's something that I look at and be like, if I want this long career, the longevity like them, I need to do the same. You know, you can't always do the same thing. You've got to kind of work with different artists. How do you
stay up to date and like evolve?
You kind of got to keep an eye on what those trends were, like I kind of mentioned earlier. Yeah. And, you know, music's like fashion. It changes. 1 minute something's in fashion, the next minute it's cold. And everyone, I mean, there's some DJs, I mean, like Calvin especially, has just stayed at the top forever. But, you know, I do see a lot of DJs and dance acts. It is a bit like up and down. And
it's a roller coaster.
There's peaks and troughs in the career. But it's how you know, if you are at a low point, how you get back up again. And this is challenging, man. And you've just got to be on top of the trends and kind of try and stay relevant. And it's very, very difficult. Something that I'm trying to work out myself.
So I'm pretty sure that many things are happening at your performances, because they're big festivals. Everything is crazy. You know, people are having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Can you tell us like a little funny story behind the scenes at any of your performances?
I always say the one where I was at Iifa Rocks and somebody brought like a life-size cardboard cutout of me into the party.
A what?
Like a life-size cardboard
of
me.
Oh wow.
And yeah, it was so funny. Like I was DJing and it was like they brought it in the front row, and then I was like watching myself as I was DJing. But then like as the party went on,
was he having fun?
He was having more fun than me. He was getting more action than I did.
Right.
And I was watching him like, you know, all around the crowd, and I was just like laughing to myself. So yeah, and my mum was there that week as well, because I flew my mum out to Ibiza, and I was like, Mum, don't look at the cardboard cutout.
Things were happening.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you ever have time for vacations?
I'm so lucky that like I get to travel so much with what I do. So I tend to, like, if I have days off either side of gigs in amazing places, I'll try to stay and explore. And
you avoid flights
if I can. Yeah, you know.
You do?
Well, if there's like 2 days off somewhere, really nice. Like I was just in Thailand for a gig. I ended up staying there for 3 days, and for me that's like a mini vacation, you know. So because it's attached to work as well, I feel like okay to do it. I find it hard to just like go on holiday and like stop working. I'm always kind of in work mode, but because I get to travel so much, I kind of have the luxury of staying in nice places and having like mini holidays here and there. So that keeps me going, and I'm very happy to do that.
What's your favorite place on earth?
Favorite place on earth apart from Miami?
I agree.
I loved Bali.
Are you planning on moving here?
I would move here. Yeah, if I was to move to America, I'd live in Miami.
Well, you actually said that you lived here before.
Well, when I was at uni, I stayed.
Yeah.
When I studied abroad, so I kind of lived here already, like years ago though. But my favorite place in America is Miami. So if I did ever move to the States, it would be Miami. But I love Bali. Like Bali was really nice. Like you said, where's my favorite place to visit? That was definitely up there with one of my favorite places I've ever been.
What did you like most there?
What did I like about Bali? The beaches were incredible, and the vibe of it as well. Have you been?
Yeah.
You've been?
I haven't, but many people say that.
The vibe is amazing. Like I felt very like relaxed and very chilled out, and it's a very like healthy lifestyle as well. Like lots of amazing food and gym and stuff. So it was a nice balance of everything that I like.
Yeah, you look amazing, by the way. Congrats.
Oh, thank you.
And you have your own PT app, right?
Yeah.
Personal training app.
Yeah, I mean,
Tell
like,
us about that a little bit.
yeah, I when I was doing like a lot of fitness stuff in my early 20s, I was still DJing at this time, but I was doing my fitness is like really
But
important to
taking
me
care
as
of your
well.
abs also.
I was actually doing like competitions and stuff, so I took it really
Oh,
seriously.
you did?
Yeah, for like 3-4 years, I was doing like proper like men's fitness competitions. But don't Google the photos, please.
No, I will.
No, please.
Actually,
There's a lot of fake tan and a lot of small swimming trunks. But yeah, like back then, you know, that was a big focus of mine, along with my DJing at clubs on the weekends. And I just, you know, was thinking, how can I make more out of it? You know, and doing the app was a way to monetize it and be able to get my workout plans and my diet plans out to like the masses, you know, rather than like direct one-on-one PT in. I was able to use the app to spread it further.
You were always smart.
Yeah, I kind of was always thinking like how to, you know, turn it into a business. So yeah, the app was really.
So did it work? Like,
yeah, the app was really successful, and you know, I did it for a couple of years. But to be honest with you, once the music thing really started happening for me, I kind of put all of that on the back burner. And I don't have the app on there now, but for the time I was doing it, it was really good for me, and it was a good experience to like learn how to make an app, because it's complicated. That was a lot of work, like the back end stuff of it. It was nice to learn and get my own thing out there, but yeah,
business.
Yeah, and yeah, but now like obviously my focus now is like my music, my DJing, and like nothing comes in that would distract me from that.
But you still have your clothing line, right?
The clothing line was also like a fitness related thing, so it was a lot of like gym gear and vests and workout pants and stuff like that. So again, alongside the app, that was how I monetized my fitness, was doing the app and doing the clothing. And it didn't really make sense for me to pursue that once I got what I really wanted was the music and the DJ. And then once that really took off, like I said, I just, you know, once I had that first hit record, I knew that I had to have no distractions in my life. It had to be tunnel vision, 100% focus, locked in on the music, because I didn't want to just be like one hit wonder. And, you know, I finally had this opportunity and I had to put everything I had into this. So I kind of cut a lot of those things out just to have that absolute laser focus on the music. So it didn't make sense for me to continue trying to make that business go, because I had to just work on this. It was just music at that point.
And how do you deal with your healthy lifestyle and your busy career?
I think going through like those fitness competitions like gave me a lot of discipline, because they were very tough. They were like preparing for those shows. It was like 4 months of dieting, training every day, 2 sessions a day. To get to that like condition to go on the stage, it was almost like starvation, you know. I had to really mentally push through those barriers. And since then, that discipline has never left me. Even though I'm not taking it as serious and not doing competitions, I still wake up every day and go to the gym. I still have to eat healthy and stay to my diet. I'm still
every day, every morning.
Every day, yeah. And you know what? It's not even a physical thing anymore. It's like a mental. You know, when I'm there, I'm like, yeah, it's part of my routine and what makes me tick. But going back to those years, that always stuck with me. So I'm glad I did all that, because I think it really like helped my discipline, and it's benefited me a lot later in my life and in my touring life.
So regardless of your schedule, you find every day sometimes to work out.
Yeah, even if it's like, there's always a 24-hour gym somewhere. So even with the jet lag, I'll wake up and I'll go.
Is this a morning thing, a midday thing?
Depends when I land.
Oh yeah.
You know, like if I land in a city or a country and I have like an hour or 2 hour window before I have to start getting ready for the gig, I'll go then. If I wake up and I've got to fly later in the afternoon, I'll go in the morning when I wake up. In Miami, like this morning, I went at like 6 in the morning because of the jet lag. You know, I'll go tomorrow morning. It's just like a rule to myself to do it.
So you never eat pizza, like no cheat day?
Of course,
ever?
yeah, I love pizza. Yeah. No, listen. Like I, as I said, I'm not taking it as seriously as I was back then, when like I would avoid all that sort of stuff.
You don't look like you eat pizza.
But I love pizza. Like I'm not that strict, like where I won't eat bad food. But just generally, it's a healthy lifestyle and a healthy diet, just to keep myself feeling good. But of course, I love pizza. You know,
So
everyone loves a cheat meal.
What was your biggest competition that you went to?
So I won a competition. Actually, the competition was called the Miami Pro. It wasn't in Miami, that was in London, but it's called Miami Pro. So that was the first competition I won.
Destiny.
Yeah. And I won that, and I won another competition called Pure Elite, and I got a pro card in a competition called WBFF. And these are like men's fitness, men's physique competitions that were back in the UK. So yeah, but you know, I did it to a certain level, but then as I said, my passion was always my DJing, and I always was like, I felt like I ticked all those boxes in the fitness, and I got out of it what I wanted to in the competitions. And then it was time to really lock in on the music and focus and make this happen, because this was my number one plan A dream, you know?
So how important do you think sport is in a child's life in order to make it in life?
I mean, I can only speak for myself, and you know, I always played football when I was younger, and I was very competitive. I had to be the best at everything, like, and I feel like that competition inside me was a healthy competition, because it always, you know, made me want to work harder. And even now, even though it's not sports, I'm very competitive with my music. Like, I want to be the best, you know what I mean? I want to.
You are.
But you know, I'm very competitive. Like, I don't like losing. I have to win. Like, it's obsessively have this mindset. So when, you know, when I feel like I've lost, when I lose, or it affects me badly, you know, but this is a good mindset to have, because it means I care. That's what I always tell myself. And I'm always like, when I'm always like, oh, why am I feeling like upset about something when I've got everything I ever wanted? But I'm like, it's because you care. Like, this is actually, you should be grateful. I feel grateful that I feel upset when I lose something, because it just means I care and I want it so badly.
You're still hungry.
Yeah, exactly. And that fire is burning like more than ever now. Even after the last few years of what's happened, now I want it even more than I did, back then before I had my first hit. I want it now more than ever. So I'm lucky that I feel that way, and nothing's changed inside me.
That's amazing. So what advice would you have for kids who wants to become you?
What advice would I have? So the first bit of advice is obviously, like, this is obviously one that everyone would say, but it's so true, and it's always to believe in yourself, even if something feels so out of reach and so not possible. Like, I'm a good example of this, that if you're prepared to commit to something and work, whatever you want in life, there's possibility that it can come true, and there's no time frame in it. Like, it might take you 1 year, it might take you 5 years, it might take you over 10 years like it did for me. But if you are prepared to commit 100 and believe in yourself, you know, good things will come. And another bit of advice, which I think is so important, and this is the easiest thing as well, because it's free, is have good manners. Because everyone you meet in life, like, is going to remember you. And if you're a bad person, yeah, if you have bad manners, or you're mean, or like rude, they'll remember that and they won't forget that. So just remember to always, everyone you meet, always smile, be polite, and this will go such a long way for you.
Be nice, right?
Be nice, man. Yeah. Treat people like how you want to be treated. And I think this is definitely good for like longevity. You know, people always will remember you if you're a nice person and was polite to them and treat them well.
Of course. What about mental health in the music industry?
Mental health, I mean, it's a struggle, because there's so much pressure in the music industry, especially when you get success as well, because then people were like, what's next? You know, expecting more from you. And it's a very difficult thing to sort of like control and stay on top of when there's a lot of pressure. So a lot of artists go through a lot of issues, and I can definitely see why, because it's very hard, man.
Yeah.
Did you ever have people who said to you, "You'll never make it"?
I don't think, like, people never like said it to me, but I definitely felt like people didn't think I could do it.
You felt that?
Yeah, 100%. And even when I had like my first kind of like breakthrough, people just were always still kind of maybe looking down on me a little bit, or, you know, because I came through from an interesting sort of like path. I know we haven't really touched on it, but I came through from sort of like a TV background as well, and you know, to cross over from that industry to the music industry is not common, and there's a stigma involved in it that people kind of can look down on. And I always kind of like had to overcome that little hurdle and challenge, which only, to be honest, motivated me more to want to prove people wrong. Like this was like I turned it into a positive energy inside me. But
That's
yeah,
the best.
yeah. But yeah, definitely.
Best revenge is success. Right?
Yeah. But I understand why too. Like I understand why people would feel this way. And I definitely did feel that a lot in over the years, for sure. Yeah.
Tell us about your album, Another Friday Night. It was really well received by everyone.
Yeah.
What was the, the creative process behind the album?
The album was something that I always wanted
and the themes and messages. And
yeah. The album is like, it's a collection of all the records that you know from the years, all the way back to Sorry, because I wanted to put all the songs on there. When I was piecing the album together, I was like, I can't leave any of the songs out, even if they were back at 2019. So people were like, this album feels like a greatest hit sort of album, which is crazy to say that when I've only kind of been doing this, a couple of years. But I wanted to include all the older songs on there, as well as my new music, to like basically bring it all together in one body of work, like one ultimate banger Joel Corry playlist. That's what I wanted this to be. So on a weekend, when you're getting ready, pre-drinks on, put the album on, and it's just got like banger after banger after banger. And you know, the album's called Another Friday Night, because I feel like my music, is an escape for people after working all week and looking forward to the weekend. They want to let their hair down.
DGIF.
And, yeah. So I hope that album, is the soundtrack to people's weekends. That's what I want it to be.
It is, and your music is so happy. You just want to dance on it, and it changes your whole mood. So do you believe that certain vibrations or frequencies can actually save your soul?
Yeah, 100%. Like music can switch your mood in a second. You can be feeling down, you put a record on, everything changes. Even like when you go to the gym, you might be feeling like, I can't be bothered today. Suddenly you put a banger on and you're like, I'm ready. So it's just crazy, like what music can do to you. When you're feeling sad, you got some sort of heartbreak, you want to listen to sad songs because they resonate with you and
helps you
make
cry.
you feel a certain way. Yeah. So music is so powerful, man. And 100%. And, we touched on Head and Heart earlier. I know that one especially connected with a lot of people and made them feel good. So it was amazing to see that.
It's magical.
Yeah.
So we're going to come see you on the 28th.
Mm-hmm.
On Marcus Schultz's birthday.
Yeah.
Dina is here. That's Marcus's wife. That's why I'm looking.
Yes.
So, are you going and you're going on a cruise before that, right?
Yes, I jump on the Groove Cruise tomorrow for like 4 days.
Are you excited about that?
Yeah, of course. It's going to be my first one. Go around the Bahamas. So not complaining. Like what a dream.
Right?
What a dream. Do you know what I mean? So, going to play a few sets on the boat, which is going to be good fun. Then we get back to Miami, and Sunday, looking forward to that too.
Yeah, we can't wait to see you guys at 11.
Yeah.
We'll come there, drink champagne.
Let's go.
and celebrate. Oh, it's a day. Yeah, we'll
still drink champagne. Yeah, still drink champagne.
You drink champagne, right?
Yeah, I love a bit of champs.
Thank you so much. Your story is so inspirational, and you're so humble and so amazing. And I am a true fan, and I'm so grateful that you're here. And I do believe that you will forever have this amazing career for as long as you want it, because you deserve it. Thank you. I love you. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you so much.
And such a good example for young kids, which is very, very important. We
Appreciate
love
that.
you, and we'll come to
An healthy and good example.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thanks for
Thank
having
you,
me,
Joel.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
I can see my whole world changing. There's no need to live.